the dark, that I'd be surrounded, that burlesque would come back.
Well, that was a special talent I had since I was 14. I started practicing tassel twirling when I was 14 years old in the mirror. My parents were not thrilled. And they wanted me to be practicing piano or something, but no, I'm standing in front of the mirror practicing to twirl tassels because I had seen this other girl that worked in one of the go-go clubs with me doing it, and I thought it was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. And so I started practicing. My mom and my aunt sewed me a little bra with the tassels on. And if you can believe that, and the next thing I knew, I thought, I have this amazing talent. Someday maybe I'll get to use it again. And so it was sort of like when we were writing the movie, we go, I have to get in a section where I twirl tassels, So we were kind of moving towards that
That is
goal.
probably the most, what's the word, GIFs and memes and things like that. That's still quite iconic. With that.
I was just thinking I should make a clock. An Elvira clock with the tassels being the two hands that point to the... Wouldn't that be awesome?
Who would buy that? I would probably buy that. Yes, there we go.
I'd
And
even buy it.
sold. There we go. And that's an amazing idea. A family that tassels together stays together, obviously. I love that. Yeah, no, it's one of, and weirdly, being in Vegas, I'd completely forgotten the end of the film ends up in Vegas. That she finally gets her dream.
Which was kind of my dream. When I was a kid, I saw Viva Las Vegas with Elvis Presley and Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret was my idol from Bye Bye Birdie, the TV show the film, Bye Bye Birdie, which again, nobody here is old enough to remember that. But, so Anne Margaret was kind of my idol, and the next thing, she's in this movie with Elvis, who is my idol, and they're in Vegas, and it's like, oh my God, and I just wanted to be Anne Margaret's character. I wanted to go to Vegas, that was my dream, and 3 years later, I actually ended up in Vegas, doing whatever I did with Elvis, you'll find out later, and meeting Anne Margaret, who I've met many, many times over the year, but my entire dream just came true. It was weird. Right?
Yeah, and at a young age as well.
At a really young age. And then I was like, oh, what do I dream now? But I will tell you something funny in my book, which I don't know, some of you may have seen it, but in the very beginning of the book, right when we were finishing up the book, my mom sent me a picture of me. She said, do you remember this picture from when you were 5 years old? It was your first Halloween costume. I made it for you out of crepe paper. We were so poor we couldn't afford fabric. And I said, no, it's black and orange little princess dress with a crown and a scepter. And she said, do you remember what you wanted to be? And I said, no, I have no idea. She said, you wanted to be the queen of Halloween. When I was 5 years old. That's a little freaky, isn't it? I kind of just got little goosebumps thinking about that. Be careful what you think, okay? That's the moral of this story.
Yeah. Well, that's a wonderful point, I think, to take some questions from the audience. So, John, have you with a roving microphone? So, if anyone has any questions, could you put your hand up for me, and I will point. It's very hard to see. Sorry, guys, I've got my back to you over there. Does anyone have any questions? This lovely lady, blonde. I say blonde. It's probably like a rinse on there, isn't it? With the stripy top. It's Sylvie. Sorry, darling. I'm very jet lagged. I don't know where I am. Hello. Hello, darling. What's your name?
Emily.
Hi, Emily.
So obviously you're on RuPaul's Drag Race Season 4. When are you going to come back, and do you ever hope that someone's going to do Elvira for the Snatch Game?
Me. That's my idea for Snatch Game. Nobody else is allowed to do it.
I have been asked. The timing hasn't worked out for that, but yeah, I'd love to go back on RuPaul's Drag Race as a judge. I had such a great time.
You did it on All Stars as well, didn't you?
I did 2 times. Yeah, and I would love to go back, but so far I haven't been asked. I think you better write your cards and letters to RuPaul.
Start tweeting now. The campaign starts right here.
Probably fill in for Michelle Visage. Probably.
Yeah. There you go. I probably could, but yeah. We're both kind of. But I've done several of other RuPaul's other little shows he has. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Drive.
Drive, one is brilliant.
Where we get in the car and we drove around talking about Elvira, and he goes, "How's your head?" And I did his podcast recently, which was really fun with him and Michelle Visage. But
that was last Halloween, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it went out at Halloween.
Yeah,
I don't know
it went
who
out.
recorded that,
Right. But so we do a lot of things together, and we actually are both in a candy store together in Hollywood. Right in the center of Hollywood, there's a big candy store called Sweet, and there's a big Elvira section on one side and RuPaul section on the other. So
sounds heavenly.
we have all these little connections.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's you two and Pee Wee are probably unique in the sense that you have the on-screen, well, the personality, and you get to be to a certain extent the anonymity of it all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we always, Paul and I always say we're part of a very, very exclusive club,
Yes.
where you have a character that you do your whole life, and RuPaul is part of that too. Maybe Gene Simmons from Kiss, who knows? But a few people, there's only like a handful that sort of came up with a character, and they remain that character the rest of their lives instead of playing other roles in films.
Any other questions? Oh, we have a gentleman there with a baseball hat. Thanks, John. I can't see if anybody else has got their hands up.
Hi.
Oh, right.
Hello?
Hello, what's your name?
Chris.
Hi, Chris.
I wanted to know, I saw you on Counting Cars where you got your Macabmobile back. Have you still got it? Or do you
My
use
what?
Your car?
Oh yes, I do. I have the Macabmobile.
Yeah.
It was
Do you solve crime in the?
Huh?
Do you solve crime in the?
Yes,
car?
I drive around solving crimes in Hollywood, which really takes a lot of time. But no, I actually, for the first time, put it in the Hollywood Museum in LA, where it's on display in a big glass box with my sofa and a few other things from the show, right across from Pee-wee's bicycle, from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Really great museum if you ever go to Hollywood Museum. And so the car's in there on display right now, and it has been for, a few years. I miss not driving it, but I don't miss, it's like a money pit. Every
Yes,
time you
I'm sure.
drive it, something else goes wrong with it because it's an old car.
They did a very good job on that show though, with the
Yeah,
they
I
redid
love
the
that
boot,
show.
didn't they? And it was all leopard skin and beautifully done.
Yeah, they really did. The car looks fantastic now, and they put so much time and money into it, and I didn't really have to pay for it
Yeah.
because that was my fee.
Yes, yeah, amazing. And do you own the sofa, the famous red
The
sofa?
sofa is there with the car. I pull it out of there often to use it for different things that I shoot or different projects I'm doing. So, but it's on display in the Hollywood Museum with that.
That's amazing.
But like I say, I take the car, the sofa whenever I need them for gigs.
Of course, well, yes, it's part of sort of iconic part of you, isn't it? And was there someone down here? Sorry, Johnny, with the purple hair there. Thanks, John. It's like Annika Rice. There we go, running across there. Thank you. Hello there. What's your name?
Cheryl,
Hey, Cheryl.
do you think Elvira is a feminist icon?
I don't know if you heard, but she said, "Do you think Elvira is a feminist icon?" And several years ago, I would have never said that. I mean, and then it really kind of dawned on me as time went by. I really do. I have been a feminist my whole life. I mean, I think since, oh my gosh, since I was probably 17 and Erica Jong came out with The Fear of Flying, I was like major feminist. And so strangely, even though Elvira has all the cleavage, and the boobs and the sexy thing and the heels and all that, I really do think she is a feminist because she doesn't take any shit from guys. She doesn't, she's like, she stands up for herself and
I think,
she
yeah,
has her
totally.
own opinion, like we talked
Yes.
about. And
The first thing she does in the movie is knocks down her sleazy boss who's trying to rob her.
yeah,
Which I just thought, I was thinking the other day, I was thinking, that is, and I remembered that when I was a kid when I saw it. I just thought when I was a kid when I saw the film, I just thought,
Yeah, she's kick-ass, isn't she?
yeah, and the nice thing about her is that she, in order to be a feminist, you don't have to look like Margaret Thatcher or Hillary Clinton.
No.
Nothing wrong with them. They
No.
look great,
But
but
you
their
can-
outfits,
I think
I'm
that's
talking
probably-
about their hair and their clothing. I love them both.
Yeah.
But you don't
In
have to look like
retrospect.
that. You can look
Yeah.
sexy. You can show
be sexy.
cleavage. You can, what's wrong with your body? You can be the way a woman looks. You don't have to look like a man in order to be, a feminist. You don't have to wear a suit and tie to
totally.
work.
I think that's part of. I think probably in the 80s at the time you think, oh, it's titillation for that because of Peg Bundy in Married with Children, kind of big hair and cleavage. Now those sort of people are looked on as like being very, very sexy, not taking any shit from men, and that's why they
And still looking like
and
a
still
woman.
and still looking
Sexy.
a woman,
Yeah.
a proper woman. Oh, we better move on to. Well, I think we've only got time for another couple of questions. I think there's a gentleman over here with a beard. My eyesight's failing, so cataracts are getting worse.
Thank you.
I just switch.
Hi. I just had a quick question.
how did you come to start working with Jack White and the whole Devil's Night thing like that? Because that's how I got introduced to Elvira. That way.
I don't know that.
Well, I love Jack White. I mean, first of all, actually, my daughter turned me on to him because she was turned me on to a lot of music. But and then one night, Pee Wee called me. I call him Pee Wee. He calls me Elvira. We're the only ones that get away with that. Pee Wee called me and said, "I've got a ticket to see Jack White. A couple tickets, but I'm going out of town. Would you want to see him?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that would be fantastic." So he told Jack, he was a friend of his, and told him, "I can't see you, so I'm sort of looking in your direction. Sorry." He told Jack that we were coming to his concert in Hollywood, and Jack, it turned out, was a huge Elvira fan. He actually tells me all the time, if he comes back as a woman, he wants to come back as Elvira, which is a nice compliment. I love that. So we got to be very good friends. I got out to Nashville and stayed at his house several times, and started hanging around Third Man Records, and he did a couple of my records, which he released, 2 or 3. He came on my TV show in the U.S. I wish you guys could have seen it. It was one of the funniest things I think I've ever done. My most recent movie macabre series that I did that was on Hulu.
The 13 Nights of Elvira.
Yeah, 13 Nights of
yes.
Elvira.
Yeah,
Jack, you know, after a lot of my jokes, we have a rim shot. So the rim shots kept coming up after everything I said, and finally I was like, "Can you stop it with the rim shots?" And the camera went over to see it was Jack White, and he was just playing the rim shot, and
Amazing.
I yelled at him, and he throws his drumsticks and, you know, marches out. But he's just been great, and he's been great help for me with my music and the songs, and I just adore him. He comes out to see my show every year at Knott's Scary Farm, and him and Josh Homme, who's become a friend too from Queens of the Stone Age, and I just adore their music. They're my 2 favorites.
I think that sounds amazing, and I think we're going to have to wrap it up there, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. So I think from my humble point of view, I would like to say thank you for bringing Elvira to the UK.
You're so fabulous.
Thank you.
So
A round of applause for Cassandra Peterson.
Thank you guys for coming.
I'm going to see Cassandra. She was down there signing things, and I'll see you later.